Very good morning 8th class. Today we will cover DG class for your geography chapter 2 land soil water etc. ठीक है तो स्टार्ट करते हैं हम अपनी DG क्लास चैप्टर 2 के लिए.
Some places on this earth are densely populated, while some areas have no human life at all. What do you think would be the reason for this? The variation in the type of land, such as plains, steep and rugged terrains, deserts, low-lying areas, snow-covered areas, and the climate of the land. Are the reasons for this uneven distribution of population. Human beings tend to inhabit the areas most suitable to live in and earning a livelihood. We use land for various purposes. Overuse of land leads to land degradation. When such a situation arises, then comes the need to conserve land. Let us now move on to learn about these concepts in detail. We modify land for several purposes, such as to cultivate crops, build houses, or establish industries. And this is called land use. Land use patterns vary from area to area. Both physical and human factors determine land use patterns. Physical factors include topography, soil, climate, minerals, and water. Human factors include population and technology. The land that human beings use could either belong to an individual or be shared by the community. Community lands are also referred to as common property resources. Look around you. Can you classify the land you are currently on as private land or community land? Share your answer with the rest of the class. Click Continue to proceed. We have seen the different ways in which we use land. But what happens when we overuse this limited resource? Take a look at this image of the floods in Mumbai in the year 2008. What do you think was the reason for the waterlogging during the Mumbai floods? Due to increasing opportunities, cities attract more and more people. Community lands and wetlands are encroached. Housing complexes, malls, and multiplexes are built to accommodate the increasing population. This leads to land degradation, reduction of water quantity, soil erosion, increasing garbage, and waterlogging. Overexploitation of land often results in events that impact human life. We abuse land because we regard it as a commodity belonging to us. When we see land as a community to which we belong, we may begin to use it with love and respect. So, what are some things that we could do to safeguard this precious natural resource? Here are some of the methods that we could use to conserve land. Planting of trees. Reduce, reuse, and recycle of waste. Land reclamation, which involves restoring land to its natural state wherever possible. Regulated use of chemicals. Adherence to environmental standards. And enhanced city planning. We did not inherit the land from our fathers. We are borrowing it from our children. The topmost layer of the Earth's surface is covered with soil. It is a very important resource for all living organisms. Soil provides a medium for plants to grow. It is a home to a number of microorganisms, worms, and insects. Soil is also important to other animals and humans who depend on plants for their food. Humans also depend on soil to fulfill their needs for clothing and shelter. Thus, soil is an indispensable part of life. that it has taken millions of years for soil to form. Long ago, the entire Earth's surface was just a bed of rock. Over the years, due to the alternate heating and cooling effect of the day and the night, the layer of rock developed cracks. Gradually, the cracks widened and the rocky surface started breaking into pieces. Due to natural forces like rain and storms, these rock pieces further disintegrated into particles. This natural process of rocks breaking into smaller pieces is known as weathering. As time went by, plants started growing in this layer of soil. Gradually, remains of plants and dead animals mixed with soil, making it highly fertile. As weathering is an ongoing process, the formation of soil continues even today. If we dissolve a small lump of soil in water and keep it undisturbed for some time, the components of soil separate to form distinct layers. Gravel or pebbles, being the heaviest, settle at the very bottom. Settled above the gravel are sand and clay, which are the finer particles of weathered rocks. The topmost floating layer contains dead and decayed parts of plants and animals. This is called humus. Soil also contains water and air. They occupy the spaces between the particles of soil. Soil also contains minerals, which are present in the rock particles. Thus, we can see that soil is composed of rocks and minerals and humus, water and air. However, the composition of soil varies from place to place. The type of rock weathering determines the mineral content of soil. The air and water content in the soil depends on the climate of the place. The soil that we see is only the topmost layer. Soil is made up of different layers that stretch several feet below the ground. These layers are known as horizons. Each horizon has a different composition and hence a different color and depth. The uppermost horizon is termed as a horizon or topsoil. It is dark in color as it is rich in humus and minerals. Humus makes the soil fertile and provides nutrients to growing plants. The roots of small plants are embedded entirely in this layer. This layer is generally soft and porous and retains a good amount of water. Various living organisms such as worms, rodents, Moles and beetles live in this layer. The next layer is called the B horizon. It is harder and more compact than the A horizon. This layer also contains small amounts of humus. It is rich in minerals as all the water-soluble materials from A horizon leach and accumulate in this layer. The third layer, C horizon, is made up of lumps of rocks with cracks and crevices. Below this layer is the bedrock, which is hard to dig with a spade.
Oh no! The rain is washing away all my crops.
Observe that intensive rain has washed away the topsoil, and along with it the farmer's crops. Such removal and washing away of the soil cover is called soil erosion. The processes of soil formation and erosion happen simultaneously. Generally, there is a balance between these two activities. However, certain human activities such as deforestation, overgrazing, construction of buildings, defective farming, and mining lead to excessive soil erosion. Soil erosion can also be caused by natural factors such as wind and rain. When human activities increase soil erosion, the natural balance between soil formation and soil erosion is disturbed. Soil erosion can occur in various forms. When running water cuts through clayey soil and makes deep channels, gullies are formed. Land that becomes unfit for cultivation due to excessive erosion is known as bad land. In slopes, when water flows as a sheet over large stretches of land, it washes away the topsoil. This type of erosion is called sheet erosion. When wind blows loose soil off from flat or sloping land, it is called wind erosion. Did you know that since 1950, 1/3 of the world's cultivable land has been lost due to soil erosion? Agriculture is the backbone of our economy. Soil erosion directly affects agriculture. Therefore, conservation and better use of soil becomes extremely important. Here are a few methods through which we can conserve soil. In sloping lands, ploughing can be done along the slope or contour lines, rather than up and down the slope. This is called contour ploughing. This practice decelerates the flow of water down the slope and thus prevents the removal of topsoil. When hill slopes are used for cultivation, steps can be cut out on the slopes to form terraces. Cultivation on such terraces is called terrace farming. This practice will restrict soil erosion. Western and central Himalayas have well-developed terrace farms. Large fields can be divided into strips, and grass can be allowed to grow on the strips in between crops. This is called strip cropping. Strip cropping breaks the force of the wind and thereby prevents wind erosion. Planting rows of trees as shelter for crops also prevents wind erosion. These rows of trees are referred to as shelter belts. Growing different crops one after the other in systematic succession is called crop rotation. This cropping practice helps the soil in regaining its nutrients and also facilitates pest control. Afforestation, or planting of trees on a large scale, is an effective method of soil conservation. Use of eco-friendly fertilizers also helps in soil conservation. Do you remember how you feel after spending a long time in the hot sun? Your throat feels parched. You feel weak and tired. What is it that you want the most at such a time? A sandwich? A chocolate pastry? All that you probably want is a glass of water. Yes, as soon as you drink water or any other fluid, you feel refreshed again. Water is a vital component of the human body. Almost 70% of our body weight is due to the water present in our tissues. Almost 70% of our brain is composed of water. The lungs are nearly 90% water, and more than 80% of our blood is water. Water helps us to digest our food and transport waste. It also helps to regulate our body temperature. When our body becomes excessively hot, it begins to sweat. As a result, a lot of water is lost. The body cannot function properly, making us feel tired and weak. The human body needs a regular intake of water to keep it hydrated and healthy. Therefore, it is necessary to drink at least 8 to 10 glasses of water or healthy fluids every day. Just like humans, water is essential for all living organisms on Earth. Besides being essential for life, water is needed for various other purposes. About 5% of the total water is used in personal and domestic activities. These include drinking and personal hygiene, cooking, household cleaning, and other domestic needs. Did you know that in most households, the maximum amount of water is used to flush the toilet. Each flush of toilet uses about 6 to 13 liters of water. So, avoid unnecessary flushing. In India, almost 92% of water is used for agriculture, and about 3% is used in various industries. Our planet Earth. This is how it looks from the space. You must be wondering why it looks blue in color. As you can see, almost 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered with water. Thus, when seen from space, it appears blue in color. No wonder scientists have named the Earth the blue planet. Some also call it the water planet. In spite of an abundance of water on the Earth, people in many parts of the world do not get water to drink. Why is it so? If we see the distribution of water on the Earth, almost 97% of water is in the oceans and the seas. Ocean and seawater is saline, as it contains a lot of salt. Saline water cannot be used for drinking or cooking. That leaves just 3% of water, which is fresh water. Of these 3%, a little over 2% is frozen in ice caps and glaciers and trapped deep in earth. This water, though fresh, is not available for us to use. A little less than 1% of fresh water is actually available for us to use. If 100 liters of water represents all the water present on the earth, then the fresh water available to us is just about half a teaspoon. This analogy tells us that every drop of fresh water is very precious. We need to use it carefully. Most of the water supplied to our homes as drinking water mainly comes from two freshwater sources: surface water and groundwater. Surface water refers to the water available in lakes, rivers, ponds, streams, or other freshwater sources. Groundwater is water present beneath the Earth's surface. How does water get stored underground? Rainwater seeps deep into the ground until it reaches a hard layer of rock and gets stored. Groundwater is pumped through wells and then supplied through tankers and pipes. Hand pumps can also be fitted to extract groundwater.